Hi, I'm talking today to kids coach Naomi Richards. Hi Naomi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Joanne?
Very well, thank you. Naomi, what can we do if our child is dumped by a friend?
Tricky one. Unfortunately, children are always dumped by friends, really. I think there's always going to be a time in a child's life where somebody's not particularly nice to them. I think the first thing is about checking the reality, to be honest with you. I think some children feel that they're being dumped by friends, or actually they're internalizing something which isn't really happening. So, a friend may not be letting them play a particular game. They may decide actually, they're being dumped by friends and that person doesn't want to play with them. But there might be another reason. For instance, that child may not want to play with them because there's too many people playing the game, for instance. Or, they've played a lot with them recently and they just want to play with other people. So I think first of all, checking the reality. I think when children are dumped by friends, for the real sense, they suddenly are very close with somebody and then that person drifts away. It's about looking for the positives, I guess, and about looking for other people to play with. Maybe having a think, what didn't kind of work and why was that person suddenly kind of dropped them. I think it's finding out from the child, what do they want to happen? Do they want to pursue this friendship that isn't really, going to happen anymore? Or do they look at other people that are around and think, okay, who else do I have something in common with? Right, I'm going to make an effort. I'm going to invite those children maybe back to my house, for instance.
And what if one child in the group is influencing the other children not to play with your child?
There are lots of things you can do. I will often suggest to a child that perhaps they find out the reason why. So either go get that child that's not being so kind on their own, maybe even out of the school environment, and find out what's going on. Why won't they let you play? Why are they saying these things about you? What is it? What have you done? And try and find the reason why, because I think children, they often do need to know, why has this happened? Otherwise they start mind reading and thinking things that, aren't quite true. So I would do that, either go to the actual perpetrator, or I would go to the person they feel closest to within the group and say, look, what's going on? I need to know.
How can we as parents help them move on when this does happen?
I think sitting down with them, I think talking about the situation, I think about looking and talking about the other people that are in their peer groups, who's in their class, who do they like, what kind of things does their own child like, and finding children that they like. I think one of the things that I really like doing is getting a child maybe to write down a friendship code. So you get your child to sit down and write, okay, what does a good friend look like? And then they write lots of different words down, and then they say, well, okay, so are you a good friend, looking at your friendship code? And invariably they say yes. And they say, right, okay, so who do we know? Who do we know in your group that has these kind of qualities? And they don't have to have all of them. You don't have to have, a friend doesn't have to keep secrets, be trustworthy, be good, fun, exciting, and like every single interest you do. But, what are the core qualities that you're looking for in a friend, and who has those? Who has common shared interests? And I guess go from there. And as I say, invite people back, encourage that child, build up their confidence to know actually they are a good friend. They've had good friendships in the past, and they can continue having good friendships as well.
What message should we be telling our children when other kids are being mean or hurting them? Should it be tit for tat?
Not really. I think it depends. I think it depends on what it is and to what level. For instance, as I said before, children internalize things quite easily. So, if somebody treads on their foot, should they tread on their foot again, or should they just ignore it? Should they tell the teacher? Are they going to hit them over the head? The choice is yours. I think it's about what is going to make the situation, what's going to make the situation better. Do they just want to forget about it and walk away, or do they actually want to do something? And if they want to do something, what's it going to be, and how is it going to make the situation better? And I think that's kind of where the options come in, because if a child is mean to another child, the recipient has to then decide what they're going to do with it. I often get the case of a child sitting in a classroom and the child behind him is throwing things at his head or just trying to distract him, and they're not necessarily being mean to that child. It may be that they're also they're bored as well. So, we talk about, what would you do in that situation? And I think one of the things that I really love is that, and the child has tried it out before, is collecting all those things that the person behind them has thrown at them, keep them and give them back at the end of the lesson and say, thanks very much, these were really useful in my class, would you like them back now? And using a bit of humour as well. So, I think it's all about the extent. I mean, bullying, of course, is a completely different thing.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Okay. Thanks, Joanne.